Hey, good morning and welcome to Breakthrough Walls. I'm Ken Walls and I'm your host. And today I have the one, the only Sara Lohse on the show. And this woman is absolutely phenomenal. You're going to love her. You're going to love her energy and you're going to love sharing this out right now. So stop what you're doing, share this out. Let's get 1.7 million people on here live today to hear the amazing story from Sara Lohse. Stay with us. We'll be right back with Sara Lohse. And we're back, not with Sandra, but with Sara. So here she is, Sara Lohse. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm sorry Sandra couldn't make it today.
I know.
I hope you're okay with a stand-in. Hi, I'm
I kicked
Sara.
her out. She was in the green room and I had to throw her out. Threw me off there
It
for a minute.
happens. We gotta, last minute changes. It's okay.
That's right. Well, Sara, you know what? I met you at and was it an Women's
Speakonomics.
Speakonomics?
Yes.
Yes. And we got to be judges. We got to judge people. That's so fun.
And we had our panel together, which is
That
always fun.
that was fun.
I think I
Yeah.
stole your mic a few times.
Several. I
Mm-hmm.
just honestly decided, like, I'm not even going to talk. I'm just going to let Sara talk. What's the
I don't know
point
if that
of
was an active
trying?
decision or just because I took the microphone away from you and said you're not allowed to speak anymore. That might
Look
be
at
it.
what Jose Garza shared. Like that guy, every time he gets on, he just instantly shares. That is a good dude right there. And I always pop his name up on screen when he says I shared it. So,
We love
you
you,
know,
Jose.
people need to share. So, all right, listen. Here's the deal. I started this. It's been 6 years ago now. I can't even believe that. And it was really to help people have a breakthrough in life, right? And so I think that by hearing how other people faced um, toughness in life, for a lack of better words, and they broke through. I think that's helpful to other people. So, talk about where it all began for you, Sara. Where were you born and raised?
See, people find it very hard to believe when I say I'm from New York.
I
Because
don't find
apparently
that hard to believe.
I don't either. They're
No.
like, "But you're too nice." I'm like, "Oh, you're bless your heart." Um,
Um, really?
yeah.
I'm just kidding.
No, I am a Long Islander, and I've been in Texas for the past, oh gosh, it's about to be 5 years. That's
Wow.
insane to me. But I lived in
Wow.
Maryland before that. I've kind of been a little bit all over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I see the New York thing. I definitely do. And you are very nice. You're very nice. So you grew up on Long Island. Am I
Long
saying Long
Island.
Island?
I don't say the
So
guy.
what was that like for you growing
It
up there?
it was really weird because apparently once you leave Long Island, nobody knows what Long Island is. And
Oh,
I went from living on Long Island to living in Baltimore. And every single person I would meet would be like, "Oh, you're from Long Island. You've got to know my cousin."
right,
Every
right.
single time.
Joey,
Yeah, like I would have to explain like we named it Long Island because it's a
right?
very long island. There are
Right.
a lot of people there.
There
I
are
don't
a
know
lot
your
of people
cousin.
there.
Yeah.
I've never been there.
You gotta go at least once specifically to eat a bagel.
I've flown over it. And it's close to, is it close to one of the airports, JFK or
JFK is
LaGuardia?
technically on Long Island.
Oh,
Mhm.
Well, then I guess I've technically been there then.
There's also Islip is like the one on Long Island that's really tiny and only like 2 planes fly into.
Yeah, I've never,
Yeah.
never
But I'm from
flown
like
in
a
there.
really small town on Long Island, which people also don't know exist. Because when I say I'm from Long Island, they're like, oh, you're like a city girl.
Right.
Like, I grew up next to a cornfield.
A what?
A cornfield.
Oh,
Hmm.
wow. On Long Island.
Yeah. We had a place that was specializing in studying ducks. So there's like a building that was shaped like a duck, and they studied ducks.
On Long Island.
I'm not from the city.
Wow. Okay, but okay, you were close to the city.
No.
Come on. You're closer than I am
N-
right now.
yeah. I was like, it was like 2 hours away.
Was it really?
Yeah. I was all the
Wow.
way out on like the end of Long Island, like where it forks.
Wow.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Not quite Montauk, but like before the fork.
So did you go to the city as a kid?
As infrequently as I could.
Really?
I'm not a city person. I would go for pizza. Like, I'm just here for the pizza.
So you went to okay. I thought that's like you woke up every day no matter where you live on Long Island and you go to the city.
No, I mean, I only lived there till I was 18. So it's like I woke up every day and I went to high school.
Okay.
And then I went to
Even
the
at
city.
12?
I was very advanced for my age. Actually, I think I was in my high school at 12 because ours was like 7 through 12.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, so that it wasn't a very big school then.
So when I was really young, our school was like for my town, and my town is really small. So we had one of those like red brick buildings that was K through 12. And
What?
yeah, a few years in, they built a high school. They had to merge districts, bring a couple different schools together, and finally have a big enough school. But it used to be I could
Wow.
walk to it, and it was brick building, a couple like trailers for extra classrooms.
Oh my God.
I'm
Okay.
from I'm from out there.
Way out there. Okay, so you grew up in I see I can't picture that in my head. I guess I have to go there. But you know, because I think of Long Island, I immediately think of skyscrapers. I know.
We don't have those.
Well, they're right down the street from you.
Right down the street from me was another cornfield. And then across the street from that was like a nursery, I think for like Christmas trees.
Oh my God. Wow. So Long Island, is it huge then? Is it like is Long Island like really big or
It's
something?
pretty long.
Okay. I
We
okay. I
named it
need
on purpose.
right. I need to check it out. So okay, you went to school there. Did you graduate from high school?
Yes.
Okay, good. Did you go to college?
Yes.
You did?
I finally left Long Island to go to college in Maryland.
In Maryland. Okay.
Yes.
And what did you study in college?
When I started, I was criminal justice and
Okay.
psychology because I wanted to work for the FBI.
Okay.
That did not last very long. So I graduated with mass communications and psychology.
Wow. Okay. And so you didn't go work for the FBI?
I worked with them sophomore year, and that is when I decided this is never going to happen again
Oh,
and changed my major.
wow. Okay. So when you so you why didn't you want to work for the FBI?
So I wanted to be a profiler because I had this like really weird obsession with serial killers. I say had as if I don't still have a really weird obsession with serial killers.
Yeah,
And
I can
apparently
see
there's
that.
like two profilers like in the country at any time. Like it's not a very big like need
Yeah.
for them because we don't have that many serial killers, thankfully. So
Right.
I started working with them and I was like, yeah, I want to be a profiler. They're like, you're adorable. We all do. You're gonna like search
Wow.
for like forged money or something for the rest of your life or just like do paperwork. It's like,
Wow.
oh, that's great. Thank you. Have a nice day. And
You're
then I
like,
switched
you
my
mean I
major.
don't get to hunt down serial killers?
Like that's all I wanted. It was like that or work in a prison as like a psychologist. But my dad was a cop and he's like, you are not going anywhere near a prison.
I
So
cannot blame him for that.
yeah.
He was a cop on Long Island near the
Mm-hmm.
cornfields?
Yes. Yeah. He
Okay.
protected all of the corn,
Wow.
arrested
So,
scarecrows.
okay, so you go to college in Maryland and you graduate from college?
I did.
Yes? Okay. And where did you end up going from there? You started your own business and the rest is history. You're
With a few details
wealthy
in
and
between.
okay, good. So where'd you go from college? Did you stay in Maryland? Go back to Long Island?
I did stay in Maryland. My plan was when I graduated, I was just going to apply to jobs all over the world and move wherever I got hired, which I did, but I got
Okay.
hired 20 minutes from campus. So I
Oh.
didn't actually do the leaving part, but I
Mm,
did the applying part. So I ended up
yeah.
at a boutique ad agency in Baltimore I was there for 2 years. And then one of my clients at the agency actually stole me. So I ended up working in finance and I moved down to Texas because just wanted better tacos. And I've been here ever since and stayed in finance for a couple of years and then got out to launch my company in 2022.
There are some really good tacos here.
There are. Highly recommend.
There's a new place in Salina called OMG. I'm plugging them right now. It's the best tacos I've ever had. And now they're gonna have to sponsor the show.
Obviously.
So and there's actually they have several locations around DFW, I guess. So but so okay. You came to you're in Dallas, aren't
I'm
you?
in Austin.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so you no, I mean I'm sorry I got it wrong. I'm kidding. That's not what I was saying. So you're in Austin, and do you come to Dallas? No,
No. I think when I met you there, that was only the
you were
second
here.
time. It was the second time like in my life I'd been to Dallas. The first one was for
Oh,
podcast movement in like 2022, I think.
yeah.
And I will be back. I think I'm speaking at another conference there in
Yeah.
like September. I
Okay.
think I'm on a panel on podcasting there as well.
Yeah.
So I will be back, but no, it's
Okay.
very rare that I make it there. My business partner is there, but I make him drive
Yeah.
here instead.
I was on his podcast
Mhm.
recently.
Yeah, he told me.
So okay. You I'm trying to connect some dots here. So you came to Texas to work in finance?
I came to Texas for tacos.
No, you had a job.
I did. It was in board games.
Board games.
Yes, and it was terrible, and I did not last very long. But I quit my job and just like kind of packed up and moved because I didn't want to live in Maryland anymore. And I
Oh,
just needed to pick a place. And I was like, Austin has really good tacos and happy hours, and I can just drink margs every day. So I'm going to move to Texas. And I was here
okay.
for a couple months, lost my job, ended up taking the job from my former client that had been offered to me for a couple months, and
Okay.
ended up working remote in finance for a Maryland finance company.
That sounds boring.
Yeah.
What'd you do? I mean, you said you worked in finance.
So I worked in financial planning, but I was a director of marketing.
Oh,
And finance, when I start, like I thought a 401k was a charity race. I knew nothing about money. It was
right.
pathetic, but
A charity race.
I did it for so long that I actually learned a lot and fell in love with like personal finance and teaching it. So I
Okay.
actually launched a financial literacy media company for the financial planning firm and focus only on like creating free content to teach financial literacy, and ended up getting accredited as a financial counselor and
Wow.
just like really like dove in on finance. But after a couple of years, it was getting to be too much because financial professionals are a very specific kind of person and I'm
Yeah.
not that person.
Okay.
So I resigned and launched a company, but took the company with me, and they're still one of my favorite clients, and I still work with them and a couple other financial brands. So it's worked out.
So talk about, okay, you were the director of marketing. Is that what your title was?
Yep.
Okay. And marketing is a very, I own a marketing company. My wife was global VP of marketing for two
Nice.
different $500 million a year companies. And
Mhm.
um, marketing is very, very, very broad.
Yes.
And everybody now, all you have to do is go to Instagram. Everybody is a marketing specialist.
Oh yeah.
Um, talk
And a
about
model.
and a model, yes, that in their private jets and stuff. So talk about though when you what okay, what how do I say this? What do you do different in marketing than a lot of other people are doing?
Yeah, I think when I took the position there, it didn't really exist. I kind of got to create what I wanted to do. And what I wanted to do was help the public learn about money because
Okay.
I knew nothing about it. No one I knew anything about it. So I think the way that I went about marketing for them was more almost PR because I was
Mm,
creating all of this free content and getting them attention in a really good way, in a positive way. But also, it was kind of the on the authority marketing side of it because we
okay.
were publishing articles to Forbes every week, and we were doing these live webinars about different financial topics. So definitely focus in on that authority marketing piece.
Mm-hmm.
And when I left it, that's really kind of where I stay. And so most of my marketing plans and everything focus around that authority piece and thought leadership. So I
Mm-hmm.
focus on podcasting and podcast guesting and storytelling. And it's not necessarily like I don't want to market your services and like your pricing and all of that. I want to market you and what you know and help you build trust and build connections with people so that no matter what you do, they want to work with you because of who you are.
That seems like a silly way to market.
Thanks.
I'm I'm just kidding.
And that's why I'm
So
highly unsuccessful.
I love it. I've said for many years now, and Grant Cardone is one of my mentors, and I look at I'll use an example. Hopefully, I don't get sued for using this example, but there's a multi-billion-dollar department store. It starts with a K, has an OHL in the middle, and an apostrophe S on the end. Um, I'm not.
Doing math. Hold on. Got it.
And so years ago, I was looking at their Facebook pages, and I'm like, they're posting, and they have like 7,000 different Facebook pages, which at store level I think is fine. You should probably do that, but they're posting once a week, and they have customers on there really angry, and they're not responding to them. And I'm like, this is bad marketing. This is really, really bad. So give some examples, real life examples, Sarah, for people that are watching, because you're are you what generation?
Are you about to call me
Z?
Gen Z?
Z? Are you
No.
Z? You are.
I'm like a baby millennial.
You're Gen Z.
I'm a millennial. I think I'm like
Oh.
1 year out from the cusp.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm a
Okay.
baby millennial.
A baby. Okay.
Yeah.
So you said you're going to call me a Gen Z. But so
Okay,
give
boomer.
some like I teach people like all the time, like stop trying to brand your company.
Brand
Like,
yourself.
brand yourself. And
Mhm.
nobody buys from companies, they buy
Mm-mm.
from people.
Mhm.
So talk about some real life examples that you teach people. And by the way, just you and I are kind of bantering, having fun, but I heard you speak when you were sitting right next to me on stage, And I was like, holy crap, this girl is brilliant, because you are.
Thank
So
you.
I really would like for you to share with the audience um, some real life examples of, and regardless of the business or industry
Mhm.
that they're in, real life examples of how they could increase their sales via personal branding marketing.
Yeah, I think everything comes down to storytelling. And
Mm,
there's always a place for stories, no matter what you do. And being able to tell a good story is such an overlooked skill in so many industries. But people, like you said, they don't want to interact with a brand, they don't want to interact with a logo, they want to interact with a person. And there's so
yep,
many just people. And there's, I think it's like 600 billion pieces of content that get posted online every day. And it's just so much stuff. And how do we break out of just the everyday stuff that everyone's seeing? How do we separate ourselves from the clutter?
yep,
And if we want people to connect with us, we want people to understand like this person is brilliant. This person knows what she's doing and she's great at what she does. And she does it for this reason. And I connect with that. And I want to see her succeed. I want to see her do great. I want to do work with her. They need to have that personal connection. And
yep,
personal connections come from stories, personal connections come from shared experiences. So when you're able to share those experiences and be really just genuine and authentic and not afraid to be vulnerable, you're
yeah,
going to get those connections. And a lot of people in sales, they understand the know like trust process where you want to bring your customer from they first they know you, they start to like you, then they trust you.
yeah,
You can get through that whole process so quickly through stories. And if you choose the right one and you tell it in the right way and the right timing, you can make a connection that's so strong that it doesn't really matter what you do. They want to support you, even if they're not going to be your client. They might be it just in your network. They might be a new referral source. I have
right.
people on LinkedIn that they're constantly they're sending me connections, they're sending me referrals. I've never met them, but we were connected by someone else. We jumped on a Zoom, we talked to each other, we told each other our stories, we connected. And now we are each other's cheerleaders from a different country.
That's
And
amazing.
yeah, it's all about that connection.
Yeah. Do you teach a lot of using like Instagram stories, Instagram reels? Do you teach people that they need to be doing that?
Not necessarily, but a little. So I teach about storytelling from the perspective of thought leadership.
Okay.
And when I talk about thought leadership, I talk about in a few different avenues. My favorite one being podcasting. I've been in the podcast space forever, and I have a podcast production company.
Yeah.
But then there's also public speaking, which is my least favorite because I hate doing it. There's content creation, and that's the one that is one of the easier ones. And that is things like Instagram and TikTok and all of that. But
Yeah.
I think to use those effectively, you need to really draw the line between thought leadership and being an influencer
Yeah.
because it's a really distinct line to draw. And if you're just posting because you want attention, you're posting to get brand deals. And so people buy the sunglasses that you're wearing, and people are stopping, they're scrolling to watch you do something because it's entertaining, but they're not getting anything from it
Right.
other than maybe suckered into buying something they don't need. That's an
Right.
influencer. But when
Yeah.
people are stopping to listen and are getting a new perspective, that's a thought leader.
Yep.
And I want like that is what I want people to lean into. I don't want people like if you want to be making fun TikTok videos and stuff, more power to you. If that's your brand, that's what you do, go ahead.
Yeah.
But if you want to differentiate yourself as a thought leader, you have to take it a different direction.
Okay. Well, that's a wrap. Um, I mean, if you don't get that, see, that's what I love. I I agree with everything you just said, by the way. And I'm an influencer, but not really. I'm an Amazon influencer, and I'm like, why do you use that word? I don't like.
I
Anyway,
the word influencer makes me cringe now. Like
I know.
I hate that word.
Yeah, yeah, me too. But I think that so I years ago I was trying to figure out the whole live streaming thing,
Mhm.
2014. And I decided, um Eric, oh my God, Eric, are you seeing the comments?
Mhm.
He's a
For
friend of
the
mine.
record, no.
Yeah, you don't. I don't even think I
No.
want to put that up on the screen. But so and one night I just decided on a live stream, sitting in my living room back when it was just Periscope and Meerkat were the only two options, really. It was before Facebook Live. I look, Larry, she she's getting her own show. And she found Jesus, so there's that. I think I heard. I don't know. Uh anyway, okay, I hear that's what Eric said that we're talking about for those of you watching. Good Lord, have mercy. But so I decide one night somebody said something on my live stream, and I only had a handful of people on there at the time. And I just decided to, you know what? Why am I trying to be somebody I'm not and build? I decided to be authentic and real and tell my story about being a recovered alcoholic
Mhm.
and all of this stuff. And Sarah, like it was crazy. Like it went from maybe 15 people watching. They started sharing like crazy, and I had 70 people watching as I was just pouring my heart out and
Mhm.
being real and authentic. And I developed or created thousands and thousands of followers because I realized in that moment, because after I finished the live stream that night, I was like, holy crap, I just had a lot of people on there that I'd never have had before, right? And I was like, so it just takes being real and authentic, and
Yeah.
people like that.
Yeah, I think social media is kind of like a double-edged sword right now because yes, you can use it to create great content and get messages into the world, but so many people use it as their highlight reel
Yeah.
and that's all they show. And that's not helpful. If
No.
you're only talking about the things you're doing great and everything that's going well, like that's not going to connect with people because no one else is doing anything perfectly. And we know you're not either, you're faking it. But you
Right.
have to be showing the blooper reel too. And that's so important. And people are afraid to do that because, well, I can't admit I did something wrong. People are going to think I'm stupid. It's like, no, we're going to think you're human.
Right.
And
We think you're
again,
stupid if you're trying to be perfect
Like people
all
wanna
the time.
interact with people, they don't wanna
Right.
interact with brands. If you actually admit that you are a person and you're not this, like, corporate robot, people are gonna react to you. And, I mean, my career, like, changed trajectory when I was very honest about a really embarrassing tattoo on a platform that was way too big for me to have been on, and
Wow.
that changed my life.
Yeah.
And I was on a finance podcast, one of the biggest finance podcasts there are, to talk about
Wow.
the time I got a tattoo of a penis while I was in Ireland.
Oh,
Mhm.
oh my God.
So obviously, based on that reaction, you have not read my book, which
Oh
I know
my
you have
God.
because I gave it
I
to you.
have not. I have not. I have it, don't I?
Yes, I gave it to you, and I
Oh,
even wrote a
God.
special note to you.
Sarah, please forgive me. I haven't read it yet,
Mhm.
but look at Larry. Oh my God.
That's my business partner, y'all.
I know. I love Larry. But no, I haven't read it, and you'll forgive me
I do.
eventually. I hope.
Yep.
I get like a book or two every day sent to me. I have a publishing company and all, so and it's hard to read everything that's given to me immediately. Um,
Now you know
but
what you're
talk
missing out
about,
on.
huh?
Now you know what you're missing out on.
I
You
guess
missed the penis tattoo story.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna have to go read it. But that's the thing is, I think again, I think that if people can learn to just stop fronting, I don't know how else to put it.
No
Stop.
cap.
No cap.
Is
Just
that
be
what Gen Z
you,
is
man.
saying? I don't know.
Huh?
I think that's what Gen Z is saying. I'm probably wrong.
Well, you're a Gen Z,
I'm
so
not.
you're very close.
I am a millennial. I think it's dope. It's so rad.
It's so
Oh, thank you,
rad.
Eric.
Since Ken won't, that's so funny.
Open
Open
this
the
book, The Art of Storytelling for Aspiring Thought
okay,
Leaders.
what's the title of your book?
Open this book. Go to openthisbook.com.
Really? That's awesome. I love it. Openthisbook.com. So okay. So talk about look, Doug Wing's dropping hints. that's
Did
a
not
hint.
remove it for the
Oh
record. It
my
is still
gosh.
there, but it is
Oh
covered. I
my
got it.
gosh.
I got it fixed 30 days later.
Oh, good, good. So okay, so let's back up. Jeez, we've gone off track. Holy crap!
I do that.
And no, it's not your fault. It's Eric. He threw us completely. I was just it said, show the tattoo. Oh my gosh, are you serious?
If you go to favoritedaughtermedia.com/tattoo, there's a before and after slider photo.
Oh my god. Oh
my parents are really proud of me.
I'll bet they are incredibly proud. So, all right. So back up. You come to Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Your cousins with the Hawk Tua girl.
Yes. No relation.
That is the craziest story. I'm like going, are you guys kidding me? Like you're making this girl famous for anyway.
We make a lot of questionable people famous.
That's true. But you know, so you come to Texas. Now I'm just now finding out that you have a book
that you own.
It's on my desk. It literally is.
All right.
At home.
For you know this because you were there if you were paying attention, but for everyone else, we're speaking on a panel together, and one of the questions is, how do you get booked on a podcast? Like, how do you pitch to get booked on a podcast? And Ken's answer is, oh, well, don't, because I won't let you on. Don't ask to be on my podcast. So I never asked to be, but someone in the audience decided she was going to be my manager.
Yes.
And she was like assaulting you with, you got to get this girl on your show.
You booked.
Yes, but if
who was that, by the way?
Her name is Nancy. She is Nancy, and she's an angel. Okay. But if you open the book, because I signed it for you, what I signed was, I didn't ask, from Sarah.
I remember. I opened it and read it. That part.
Oh, you made it so far to the title page.
Yes. So okay. So now you have a book. You have all these things. Like, what made you decide to write a book?
I
mean, you're a Gen Z. How what qualifies?
Okay, boomer.
I love it. She gives it right back. No, so what made you decide to write a book?
So going back a little bit to the tattoo story, when I think I was like, I got the tattoo at like 20 or 21 or 22, but my first ever podcast movement, I was working in finance. I was trying to get the host of the show that I produce. He was the CEO of the company, trying to get him booked on Stacking Benjamins, which is one of like the bigger finance shows. And I stalked the host for 3 days, like literally stalked him, like hiding behind John Lee Dumas's book at a cocktail table. Might as well have had a newspaper with the eyes cut out. It was bad. I'm still waiting for my restraining order. But
why John Lee Dumas? Why are we bringing up JLD?
Because he's the only book I had. Because he was giving out copies, so I was hiding behind it, pretending to read it.
Yeah, John's a friend of mine. He's watching right now.
Yeah. He will never forget me as the girl in the front row who, when they asked to who has questions during his session, I raised my hand and said, "Can we be on your show?" And he's like, "Oh, well, that was bold. Okay." And I got my host on his show too.
Oh my gosh, you go, girl.
No, like he'll come up to me at a bar and he'll still be like, "No one else has ever done it and it'll never work again."
Wow, that's freaking awesome.
But
So, okay, go back to the book. The book. You
yeah,
wrote the
so
book.
I wanted to get my host on Stacking Benjamins. I finally pitch him that's like he's an expert in this, this, and this, and he's done this in his career. And Joe Salsihai is the host, and he's like, yeah, that's great. I don't need an expert. I want someone with a cool story. And I didn't know what else to say and may have had a stroke or something. And I said, do you want to hear about the time I got a tattoo of a penis while I was in Ireland? And he did. And that is how I accidentally got myself booked on Stacking Benjamins. So he wanted that story because that's ridiculous. And
Yes.
his show, it's like it's a financial show, but it's an entertaining show and comedy and stuff. So he's just like, I need the story. So he
Wow.
had to figure out how to make that story connect to his audience and how to make it fit. How where's like the financial undertone, like how do we make this work?
Wow.
So he, in interviewing me to tell the story, he basically taught me how to tell the story. And he taught me how to just be a better storyteller and how to pull these like really valuable lessons out of a story that I used to only tell like at a bar, like for a laugh.
Yeah.
And it changed everything. It changed like how I told stories moving forward. And I learned that no matter how silly or like inconsequential a story might be, if you tell it well enough and you tell it right, it's going to have value. And
Wow.
so fast forward, that's why I wrote the book. Was I work with people as a podcast guesting coach and a podcast coach and thought leadership coach and help people put those. I'm getting it. Yes, thank you. I help people tell their stories. Okay, first of all, copycat.
Well, he doesn't care.
It's only ever going to work once, okay?
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
So
I
I'm known as the girl with the penis tattoo. Like that is my like and chapter 2 of my book, that is the title of the chapter because that is where I tell that story.
Oh my
But
God.
everyone that I talk to that wants to be on podcast, wants to have a podcast, and I tell them you got to tell stories, they tell me they don't have a story. And then I tell them that the most impactful story in my career was about a tattoo. Like if you can tell it enough, your story can have value.
And it's, you said jokingly, my parents are proud. I'm sure they were less than that.
They didn't know about it until the episode came out.
Oh my God.
Because I got it covered before I went home. I lived in Maryland, so I wasn't going to see them until like Thanksgiving. So I got it covered before Thanksgiving.
Oh my gosh.
They found out when the world did.
So I'm assuming there was alcohol involved in that
You
whole
would think.
transaction.
I usually leave out the part that I was sober because it makes me somehow sound worse.
Oh my God. No, you're supposed to say I don't even remember. I was in a blackout.
Exactly. Like I sound worse when I admit that. Like, no, I was sober. It was like 11 in the morning.
Oh my God.
I made the appointment 12 hours into a bar crawl through Dublin, but they didn't take walk-ins. So we just had to like make the appointment and come back the next morning.
And you knew what kind of tattoo you were getting?
I asked for an airplane.
Oh, so the tattoo artist sucked. I get it.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna pull on. I'm gonna pull it up. Y'all can see the before and after.
Oh my gosh, that's unbelievable. So you okay? So here's the thing. This is the part that
Can I share my screen?
Go for it. Just you know how to do it.
Yep.
Okay, I hope so. You teach podcasting. Here we go. OMG.
The new one looks like an airplane.
Oh my
The old
gosh.
one looks like an airplane with a penis.
Oh my gosh. That's ridiculous.
Like right there. Right there.
Yep. Don't, yep.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yep.
So, okay. So you,
it's hard to follow that.
I know what I want to ask you. I know so I talk to a lot of people. I teach podcasting as well. I think the biggest, and I think the biggest thing that people, and I want you to talk about this. The biggest thing that people need to overcome is the number one, the thought that they don't have any
Mm-hmm.
stories to tell, and number two, the fear of
Mm-hmm.
doing it.
Yep.
Right. So talk a little bit about that. How people, because everybody has a story.
Yep. Yep. And I mean, that's honestly, that's what my book is about. It's how to figure out what your story is and how to find the values in the little stories that you don't notice. I think the reason that people think that they don't have a story is that we live in a 24/7 news cycle.
Yeah.
We are constantly bombarded with headlines.
Yeah.
And it makes us feel like those are the stories we're supposed to be telling. And if my story is not worthy of being on a headline somewhere, then it doesn't count.
Right.
And I hate that
Yeah.
because the headlines are usually negative, but B, it's like these global, like changing the world kind of stories, they're great. Like that's amazing. What some people have done that has been heard around the world, amazing, great for them. Thank you for whatever you're doing. But I can't relate to them.
Mm-mm.
I've never done any of that. I've never had a global impact on anything. I've never been this just crazy, successful thought leader, led a revolution, whatever it is.
Right.
But I've done a little things and I do little things every day. And I mess things up and I learn how to do new things and I learn something new and I figure things out as I go and I'm just doing my best. And the stories like that are the ones that I connect with.
Of
And
course.
I feel like everyone else is kind of the same. So if I have a story about a time that I figured something out, or I messed something up and had to fix it, or I was just doing my best and this is what happened, those are the stories that other people are going to connect with too. Because, like I said, those connections come from shared experiences.
Yep.
So it's just figuring out which of those experiences are relevant and how do we tell a story around it. It's not
I
about the biggest story.
there's Tony. Hey Tony. I love her. She's so amazing.
Love you, Tony.
Um, I think that and I think you heard me talk about this is there's a Mexican grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
Remember the YouTube
Mm-hmm.
channel that I can't even say the name of it, but she's got like 5 million followers or something insane.
Yep.
And all she does is teach. She doesn't even teach. She just cooks. She cooks on this old, it's like, and millions of people. I follow her and I don't speak Spanish and she doesn't speak English. So I'm like, but if you just will just if you just be you and
Mm-hmm.
real and authentic, that's what you're
Yeah.
saying, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's the stories that are relatable that matter. And the ones
Yeah.
that are relatable are the ones that aren't headline worthy. And I kind of joke about it in my book because I have an entire chapter where I tell a really embarrassing story about a tattoo I got on a vacation.
Right.
And it's like, why, when I'm writing this book to establish credibility and like establish myself as a thought leader in this space, why would I tell such an embarrassing story? Why would I make myself look bad? Because the story, I mean, it goes on about the bad relationship that I was in, the bad decisions I was making in my career, all of these different things that are very true, but very like they're the things we don't talk about. And the reason I talked about them is because it gave you a better understanding of why I do what I do and how I got to where I am. But it also shows you that I'm just a person. And the story that I told is something that everyone can relate to. Not necessarily they got the bad tattoo, though a lot of people have, but they've all been in their early 20s. They've all tried to make those bold decisions. They've all made moves in their career. They've all been through those breakups that almost broke them. Like all of those little pieces of the story connect with everybody. And you might not have a tattoo you had to cover up, but something in that story you will relate to, no matter who you are.
Totally agree with everything you just said. I think that um I mean, and as far as uniqueness and global impact, I think you're the only possibly human on the planet that has had a tattoo of an airplane that had a penis.
I hope so.
So
I don't wish this on anybody.
but you know, it does. There are silly, goofy, embarrassing things that we've all done, said, or been through
Yeah.
that people need to hear. They need to hear it. That makes them relate to you. That makes them connect with you. That trying to be something that you're not is
Yeah.
crazy to me.
Especially now in the time of AI. Everything is becoming so unpersonal.
Oh my God,
Impersonal?
I know.
Whatever the word is.
Impersonal.
And I mean, my business partner is one of the like thought leaders on AI. Like I'm surrounded by this stuff, and it has its uses, it has its place, but
Yeah.
the one thing that it can't replace is your story. And so that's why, like in current state of things, like when AI is taking over, the one thing that AI can't replicate is your story. So your
Yeah.
story becomes your greatest asset, because like if you're going on a podcast and you're talking about a topic, I can Google that topic. I
Yep.
can ask ChatGPT to tell me the 5 key takeaways I need to know about this topic. I don't need you. I don't
Yeah.
need to listen to you on that podcast. But if you're
Right.
leading with stories and talking about this topic from the context of your experience and how you learned it and what it's meant to you and how it impacted what you've done going forward, I can't get that on Google. ChatGPT doesn't know that.
And it neither of those can express it with the same emotion
Mhm.
because you lived it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the one thing that like you can't really replicate,
That's
and
right.
it's what makes you stand out. So that's where that connection comes from.
Amen. And Tony said, "Amen, sister."
Hi,
I
Tony.
agree. So talk about a let's say that you've got somebody that is listening or watching right now that they, maybe have been in business for a few years or whatever, that and they're struggling
Mhm.
to get new clients, new sales, new revenue, whatever it is. Um, what would you say to that person to help them make an immediate impact on their bottom line? Because listen, at the end of the day, mainly entrepreneurs watch my show or listen to
Mhm.
it. If they're like almost every other entrepreneur, they're looking for a way to add more money to their bottom line, to become more profitable, to make a bigger impact. What would you say to them? Would be something that they could do. And I'm going to give you full screen for this, but what would you say would be something they could start doing immediately to make an immediate impact on their bottom line?
Focus on your personal brand. And personal branding has a lot of different connotations. People talk about it differently and handle it differently. But for me, I think a personal brand has to be rooted in your story. And having a brand story that really resonates and really connects is going to be what keeps people from scrolling past you or clicking away, because that brand story is, it's you, it's why you're doing this, it's how you got here, and it's going to resonate. And when you focus on the personal branding and especially the thought leadership and telling your stories and sharing your experiences, a lot of the times that's some of the most inexpensive marketing you can do for yourself.
Mm,
And I mean, I'm an entrepreneur. I own my business. I co-own another business with Larry, and it's hard. It's a lot of, you need to get the word out and you need to do it on a budget, because whatever I'm spending is coming out of my pocket. And I don't have a whole company behind me. So it has to be something I could do by myself and I could do pretty cheap.
right.
And thought leadership is that you can do a webinar online on your own platform at any point. You can post a blog and get SEO traction to your website, share it on LinkedIn as an article, share it on your social medias, wherever it is, and you can get eyes on it. And the power of social media is the power of the share button. So if
Yep.
someone sees that and they resonate with it and they share it, and someone else sees it, and you're not sharing a marketing message. People don't want to share those. People don't say, hey, watch this ad I just saw. It's so cool. No, but they'll
No.
say, did you hear this story? Did you hear about this woman doing this? Did you see this guy who did this?
Yeah.
And they don't necessarily realize from the surface that it is still a marketing message because you're showing your expertise, you're showing your experience, and you're building that trust and you're building that reputation. And that's going to turn into so much more. And I know you said instant, but honestly, this isn't something that is instant.
Yeah.
And if you want something instant, you're going to want to go do Google ads or something, honestly. But instant gratification is great, but when you can really spend the time laying that foundation and building that reputation and building that brand, it's going to bring you so much farther in the long run and have more of an impact than any Google ad is ever going to.
I agree. I mean, I think that you know, look, if you go from not doing any of the things that you're talking about to, you know, I think about if you remember the Dollar Shave Club when they first did their first video, it was phenomenal and it shocked the world actually, and they created instant massive amounts of revenue. Now behind that, they were also running ads to get that video out there.
Yeah.
But
And
it
how
was
much production
impactful.
costs went into the video?
Right. Well, not a lot on that first one though,
Yeah.
right? I mean, seemed like it was, I don't know, but maybe it did. I don't know. But you know, I think that when you just go, I need to make an impact in my business. It's got to start with making an impact in you first.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
And it's kind of like looking at like the overnight successes, like in music and comedy, and like these celebrities are overnight successes. No, they're not.
No.
They have been grinding for 5, 10, 15 years before they ever get that attention. But we don't see that. We just see that they came on the screen today and now they are major. So that's what we think is going to happen. We think like, oh, I'm going to put out this podcast, I'm going to put out this live stream, and suddenly I'm going to be like the next T Swift. No. Like even like these people that did become overnight successes weren't. So you have to put that time in and be patient. But think about your audience in terms of scaling, because people want to immediately have that stadium audience. But change the venue in your mind. If you're talking to 20 people on a stadium stage, that's an empty stadium. There's nobody there. Nobody's listening. If you're talking to 20 people in your living room, that's standing room only.
That's
like
right.
my couch can't fit 20 people.
Right.
Like there's going to be people sitting on the floor. There's going to be people in the kitchen just kind of poking their head around the wall. That's a lot of people.
Yep.
So stop expecting to hit stadium level success right away and just focus on the room that you're already in, the room that you are able to fill.
I mean, that is, hopefully people are listening to you, because this is so powerful. What you just said is, you know, I do believe in, I'll give you an example. I've done 560 some interviews over the last 6 years. And when I first started this, I wanted to have Dr. Joe Vitale from the movie The Secret. I wanted him as a guest. And he was a guest the other day. It took 6 years. And I told him, I said, I manifested this. And he said, good job. I said, but you're really late.
He's been waiting.
Right. But he was amazing. But you know, I was talking to my wife about this yesterday. I'm like, you know, there's this gestation period for anything that you're trying to create. It doesn't matter what it is. And I think that's the problem. And you said it earlier, the instant gratification mentality that a lot of people live in is insane. You know, there's no such thing as overnight success, and it won't last.
Yeah.
It won't last.
No.
So what other advice would you give anybody listening right now to really start making an impact? Before we're going to be I cannot believe we've been on 55 minutes already. That's insane. Um so we're going to be wrapping up soon, but what are some things that people, if you could give them a checklist, or maybe you have something that, on a website or something they could all go visit? What website do I put up here? I'm going to put up one of yours.
Well, Open This Book is where you'll find my book, but if you go to openthisjournal.com, so
Open this
thisjournal.com,
journal.com.
my book is written as a little bit of a workbook. So there's journal prompts that are going to help you figure out what your story is and start writing your story, figuring out what context you want to tell it in, who you want to tell it to. And all of those journal prompts from my book, I took out and put into a free downloadable journal. So you can get it at openthisjournal.com.
That's beautiful. So go to openthisjournal.com and download that and use it. So there was a time years ago that, it's a long story I won't tell, but I had a car repossessed in front of a bunch of employees, and it was the most humiliating day of my life. And I really remember at that moment thinking, my life is over. Like, what's the point of all this? And so for people that are listening or watching right now that may be hanging on by a very thin string, what do you say to those people that, give them, what hope would you give them if they're, there's people suffering right now big time. What do you say to them?
I'm probably the wrong person to give this advice because I've had a very blessed life, but just in general, time takes time, and nothing has ever been permanent in the world. Everything has always changed, and we, like that instant gratification, we expect we do one thing and the next day everything's different, but it's not going to happen like that. Because time does take time, and you have to give it that time. So just take those small steps every day and focus on what it is that you want to do and what are the little goals. It's one thing to set big goals, but another to set small ones that lead up to something better. So set those little ones and have them be really attainable, and make those little changes every single day, and give time to do what it has to do, and it'll get there.
Where should everybody be following you on social media?
I'm everywhere as Favorite Daughter Media. Or if you go
Favorite Daughter Media. Love that.
Yes. If you go to Open This Journal to download that journal, you'll also find all of my links to my socials, my contact info, my email, my calendar, all the things if you want to talk to me.
That's so awesome. Sara, your energy is contagious. You emit this amazing energy, and I love that about you. And obviously you're incredibly smart. So is there anything else you want to share with with everyone?
Yeah, don't be like Ken, actually read my book.
She hates me. It's on my desk.
Mm-hmm.
The intention is set.
Make that small goal.
Time takes time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's that small goal you need to set. Read the book.
Yeah. Oh my God. Go get her book and read it, and then call me and let me know all about it. Send me a book report.
I'll send you the Spark Notes.
Oh my God. Sara, you're awesome. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing. And it took forever for Larry to give me your info. And
God damn it, Larry.
I know, Larry. Come on. What the hell?
Trying to keep me to himself.
So thank you. I appreciate you coming on and sharing with everyone. Everyone go over to openthisjournal.com or openthisbook.com. Openthisjournal.com, I'm sure, has all the links to everything about Sara. So go over there, download the journal, and start implementing these things in your life. So Sara, don't go anywhere. I'm going to end the live stream, but I want to say thank you again for coming on today and sharing with everyone.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you. See you guys later. Thanks so much for watching. And if you didn't share, you can still redeem yourself and go ahead and share. We'll see you guys later.